You are now tuned into a brand new episode of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K Sap. Well, guys, Jerry Jeudy has finally responded. We all know he wasn't going to hold his silence for long because you know what the Cleveland media does. They're going to ask you questions because they want the tea. And Jerry Jeudy, he completely erupted on the Cleveland media. But we're going to talk about all that here next, right after this. Well, guys, we knew it was coming. Jerry Jeudy finally breaks his silence over a sideline eruption that was caught on the CBS camera of him and Shedeur Sanders. Now, that all took place last week in the game against the San Francisco 49ers. Jerry Jeudy felt that Shedeur might have overthrew him on a pass where he probably could have had a walk-in touchdown. And the blow-up was caught on the sidelines as him and Shedeur Sanders discussed the play. It was very animated where the offensive lineman had to step in and separate the two when Shedeur Sanders stood up to stand his ground. But we heard from Shedeur Sanders today, and Shedeur Sanders completely shut Mary Kay Cabot down the way he was supposed to, because I've always told you guys, some of that stuff that goes on is the emotions of the game, and some of that stuff needs to stay in the locker room. And a lot of people haven't heard from Jerry Jeudy, but Jerry Jeudy today in the media day availability, when they was talking to Jerry Jeudy didn't pull no punches. He didn't hold back. He completely erupted on the Cleveland media when it had the question asked to him about the sideline blow up between him and Shedeur Sanders. Now, Jerry Jeudy this year, he hasn't been playing up to his best potential. Now, we heard the likes of Steve Smith Sr. called Jerry Jeudy a jag when he was with the Denver Broncos. And Jerry Jeudy took exception to that, called Steve Smith Sr. out of his name. So for the guys that don't know what a jag is, Steve Smith Sr. said that stands for just another guy. And basically, Jerry Jeudy has been living up to that potential right now just as another guy because he's not performing at a high level. Now, I heard Ocho and Shannon Sharp on Undisputed last night. I mean, not Undisputed, but Nightcap last night, talking about a number one receiver, where Shannon Sharp posed the question to Ocho, do you think Jerry Jeudy is a number one receiver? Ocho said, yeah, he's a number one receiver. And Shannon Sharp went straight bonsai banana on Ocho, talking about, no, he's not a number one receiver. And, you know, Shannon Sharp listed off all these number one receivers, and Jerry Jeudy don't fit that bill. Me mistakenly myself thought that Jerry Jeudy would be the number one receiver in Cleveland, but it hasn't panned out that way. You know, he had rifts with Russell Wilson. You know, when he was in Denver, had a couple blow-ups, and now it's all well documented. Now that he has blown up on Shedeur Sanders, it got escalated because that clip went viral in the media, and everybody talked about it, and everybody was coming for Jerry Jeudy. But Jerry Jeudy had a chance to respond because Shedeur Sanders talked about it today, but he shut Mary Kay Cabot down, and he just left it where it was. He wanted to move on because him and Jerry Jeudy have already discussed that. Now, let's take a listen to what Jerry Jeudy had to say. But before we get off into that, we partnered up with Underdog Fantasy, and this is a word from our sponsor.
Underdog Fantasy is the best way to play fantasy sports. Let me tell you about the easiest way to get in on some WNBA and NBA action. Find your player, pick higher or lower, win you some extra cash. Pick between 2 to 5 players to fill out your pick'em entry, get every pick right, and win some serious cash. Use my promo code SBD23 and receive up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Now that it's football time, follow Simply Ball Dropping as I share my picks. Like I said, pick your player, choose your amount, win money. Make picks, win cash. Thank you, Underdog Fantasy, for the partnership with us. And thank you for using promo code SBD23 on Underdog Fantasy.
Well, guys, with that being said, let's take a listen to what Jerry Jeudy had to say at his media day availability today, leading up to the game against the Tennessee Titans. Let's take a listen.
Starting with, we saw the sideline confrontation between you and Shedeur. What kind of was going on there, and are you guys okay now?
Yeah, no, we spoke about it. We good. Yep.
What was the conversation about on the sideline? Was it something?
It was about a play.
Just one? Just one?
Yeah.
Do those sorts of things just happen like in the heat of a game and you just talk through it afterwards? Generally?
I mean, it's emotional sport. You know, things like that happen in football.
How do you build a quarterback's trust? Shedeur's talking a lot about trust.
Repetition.
Are you guys doing anything outside of practice in order to make sure that, like, Shedeur's talking about seeing the same lens? Are you guys doing anything outside of practice to make sure you guys are on the same page?
Other than talk about it, and that's it. Really, we just talk about it for real.
Jerry, how frustrating is this season for you personally after what you did here last year?
It's very frustrating, you know. But you only can control what you can control and do what you need to do. That's it.
Do you try to use that frustration to fuel you or motivate you or anything?
Say that again?
Do you try to use that frustration to like turn it into a positive to fuel you or anything?
Yeah, of course. You know, you can't let frustration, you know, build up and, you know, cause a lot of negativity, you know, so the only way you can handle your frustration by just, you know, just trusting the process and, you know, and just keep doing what you've been doing each and every week, you know.
Jerry, you kind of talked about that last year, like when the frustration was kind of starting to mount, like making sure that you used it in a positive manner. I guess, is there, and obviously you mentioned football's an emotional game, but is there anything you probably would have done differently with that, you know, sideline interaction with Shedeur? Is it just kind of like that's football? Just kind of.
Oh yeah, for sure. You know, probably just what I would have done different. I probably just probably taught them off camera. You feel me? That's probably what I would have done different. You know, of course I'm gonna speak my mind and tell me what and say what I need, what I see out there. But you know, it what it is. Football, man. Just me and Shedeur are good. You know, it's stuff like that happens. You know, y'all gonna make it bigger than what it is. You know, because the media. You know, that's what y'all feed off of, negativity. You know, but it is what it is. This is the life we live. So, you know, we move on from it. And I live a real life. You know, so what happened around in this locker room, you know, this real. Not what's going on social media and everything. So me and Shedeur good, everything good, man. We gravy over here.
Now you heard what Jerry Jeudy had to say. And basically, he tried to shut the media down too, but he erupted in a different way that Shedeur did. He handled it in a different sense because he elaborated too much. All he had to do was say the same thing Shedeur said, is we talked about it and we good. But he went on to lengths to let the media know that's what y'all want to do. Y'all want to find negativity and put it out there in the media because that's what y'all do. So basically, he tried to say what I've always been saying. Certain things need to be kept in-house. And he elaborated too much. That's the difference between Shedeur Sanders and Jerry Jeudy. Shedeur handled the press conference gracefully. Jerry Jeudy, he elaborated a little bit too much. He shouldn't have gave the media that much into it because, see, they still going to run with this narrative that him and Shedeur is not on the same page. He could have shut that down the same way Shedeur shut that down as well. And see, the thing about it is Jerry Jeudy's frustrations are, you know, part his blame. You know, dropping passes, not running the correct route, and things like that. But the frustration has been boiling over even before Shedeur Sanders got in there to be the starting quarterback. The frustration started when the trade of Joe Flacco, when you put Dylan Gabriel in there, and the missed opportunities that you did have with Dylan Gabriel. Yeah, you got a 29-yard touchdown pass from Dylan Gabriel, where I thought that was probably the best time that you fought back for the ball and got your hands on the ball to score the touchdown and you won the route. But ever since then, Dylan Gabriel been throwing, passes at your feet and you're not able to capitalize off of that. He's overthrown you a couple times. You've had a couple drops. You even had a couple drops when Joe Flacco was there that turned into interceptions. So I understand the frustration, but like he said frustration led to this point. And it just was a tipping point where, he wants opportunities, and he thought that was an opportunity for him to catch the ball and score. So, like he said, he wished he would have addressed it off camera inside the locker room, and nobody would have known about it. Because, like I said, certain things need to be stayed in the locker room. And then he said something about the trust, repetition. See, that's what Shedeur Sanders alluded to. It's the trust factor. I have to trust you. So Jerry Jeudy and Shedeur Sanders, they just have to build chemistry. They have to build chemistry. And I hope that they can build some chemistry in these last 5 games where Jerry Jeudy can really show what he's capable of doing. But Shedeur Sanders has to trust you. And that's what it boils down to. But I'm glad that Jerry Jeudy, he erupted on the media, but he could have kept it a little simple by just saying, hey, me and Shedeur are good, and look, and move that out the way. Don't give that media the time of day to add fuel to the fire. And I think that's what the media was trying to do. And Jerry Jeudy just went about it in a different, perspective the way Shedeur did. And that's why the narrative about Shedeur that he can't handle himself at, interviews or media day availability or, press conferences is asinine. I see everybody in the comments section, #salute. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, turn your post notifications on so you know every time Simply Ball drops another hot banger. Oh yeah, just in case I forgot, tell a friend to tell a friend. It might not be for you, but it might be for them. And this is going to wrap up another episode of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K-Sap. We catch you on the next one. Deuces.
Thanks for listening to the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share on all major platforms.
That's all, folks.